There we go. Okay, we are connected. Great, and we're live. So, just about to go live onto Instagram as well. Matt K, thank you for joining us here on Coffee and Conversations with Champions. How's that for a cool name, by the way, for a podcast series?
Oh, it's a fantastic name. Thank you for having me.
No, it's awesome to have you on. Been wanting to have you on from the time we met you at WPC Nationals. I've never seen an individual make so many big guys cry, but yet they were queuing. They were queuing to get in front of you. So, usually I've got a suit on for the podcast, but got back from Durban. We were supposed to do this earlier today. Had a puncture and delayed getting
Okay.
tires and all of the. But anyway, we're here. We're good. So yeah, uh, it's great to have you on. It was great to meet you. The one thing and why I actually wanted to chat to you before I carry on rambling is there was a huge queue of guys coming to get treatment at the competition, coming to say hi, coming to hang out. I got the sense there's a lot of love there for you in the community and what you do. So yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Cool. So give us a little bit of a rundown as to who you are. Tell us a little bit about your practice and what you do.
Yeah, so obviously my name is Matt. I'm a DC, a chiropractor. Trained in the
Mm.
States. I also have an additional master's in sports medicine, so I do that as well. And then as far as at the events and a little bit about my practice, I'm a sports chiropractor.
Mm.
I treat everyone, specialize in athletes. And then my subsect that I've kind of specialized in is the power sports. So powerlifting, weightlifting, CrossFit, and then some rugby as well. So I absolutely love going to the events, treating the guys and girls at the events and athletes. And yeah, I'm located here in beautiful Hillcrest, Durban. I've just moved into Fox Fitness, so I did a full training gym next door,
Awesome.
which is huge. Be able to do rehab with my patients, and that's actually what I focus in is exercise rehabilitation as well as all the chiropractic care.
Yeah. I think, Natal is a very, very special place. We were chatting with Lil earlier in the week about she's a coach, she's got an online coaching business, and about the history, where to go and what to do in Durban. But there's a lot of gyms. There's a huge history of sport. Like I know particularly the Hillcrest area with horse riding, show jumping. You've got Durban for cycling with the mountains. You've got the rugby. You got the surfing, the kite surfing, the sport. What is it about Natal do you think that makes it so sporty?
That's a very good question, and definitely something that I noticed when I moved back to South Africa and
Mm-hmm.
settled here. Funny enough, you mentioned the horse jumping. I'm actually located at the Shangweni Club, so
Okay.
we just had national show jumping last weekend. But I don't know, maybe it's the weather, maybe it's the climate, but we have just tremendous athletes, especially in all sports, surfing,
Yeah.
lifting, rugby. But it's such a
Cycling,
cool.
mountain biking, downhill mountain race, like the Peter Maritzburg, that area. I mean, it's insane.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I think it starts with the schools and the kids. I've been seeing a lot
Okay.
of
Yeah.
kids lately. Man, they play so much sport here. I mean, I think they're almost like student athletes that have to go to school as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I love that.
it's yeah, and there's a deep history. And I mean, even if we look at the lifting, the amount of
Mm.
fantastic coaches in this area is astonishing. You
Yeah.
know, for a smaller city, it's not Cape Town, it's not Joburg. I mean, I could list 10 phenomenal world-class powerlifting coaches from Belito to Peter
Hmm.
Maritzburg.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's such a treasure as a athletic center, which I absolutely love.
And I know we're going to chat a little bit about Hillcrest. It's not a Hillcrest ad, but when I was a little bit younger, we lived in Hillcrest, Valley of a Thousand Hills on a farm. A sort of, and Gonda Beatrix was, speaking of Shojung, was our next door neighbor, very much
Yeah.
with the horsey crew there. And it was a wonderful place to grow up. For me, I love coming through the Midlands, stopping off the forests, taking a drive, going somewhere to get a place of coffee. It's really a wonderful place to be. It's going to say very smart move basing yourself there, not only for a great practice, but also for a great lifestyle.
No, I'm tremendously happy here in KZN in total.
It's awesome. I think such an important thing, and I learned this as well for a athlete to work with a chiropractor, and for me, my understanding and my own experience, because I got scoliosis, I got Sherman's disease, I got I think a compression at L4, L5. I was told dislocated right hip, all of these injuries from martial arts over the years. And what's happened is I found a chiropractor that was a sports chiropractor. And what I loved about that is the fact that you are not told take off 6 months, take off 3 months, you can't train, you can't do this. The chiropractor works with you to enable you to continue doing what you want to do, because I think it's such a huge part of mental health, well-being. And as you said, Natel's full of athletes, our very identity, and it's vitally important. How have you found that in your practice in terms of the benefit your athlete clients get working with you as a sports chiropractor versus a traditional chiropractor, with all due respect to traditional
No,
chiropractors?
absolutely. And I'm glad you touched on the return to play
Mm,
because qualifying in the States, I got the privilege of working with some professional athletes and professional sports teams. And we were essentially in there in the theater for when they woke up. And we would start
sure.
the rehab process as soon as they regain consciousness, with the goal being how quickly can we get them back to the playing
Mm,
field.
mm,
And in private practice, it kind of changes sometimes to, take the 3 months off, do this, where actually all the science and all the evidence out there is pointing that rehab early on is the most important to getting them back to playing healthy. So in my practice, yeah, I'm very fortunate. I worked with some phenomenal coaches in this area. So I'll see the patient for whatever it is. We'll do the exam, the assessment. I'll come up with a rehab program for them with treatment. And then I'm very lucky. I just go and I speak to the coach.
mm,
And
mm.
obviously I get the patient's permission and I say, hey, I saw them. This is what's going on. You guys are the expert in training for powerlifting or whatever sport. These are the areas we need to improve to get them back. And then we'll interchange their exercises with my rehab. And then, essentially the patient is now getting 6 days a week treatment because he's doing the rehab with the coach.
Yeah.
And it's just a faster way. And then the whole mental side of the worst thing you can do for an athlete is take 6 weeks off. It's going to slow down the process, but it's also mentally, it's incredibly taxing. And, if we jump to a huge thing, say you break your leg,
Mm, mm.
obviously you can't squat, but there's cardio, there's upper body, there's core work. There's so much other stuff that we can work on in that time that you're not really taking that 6 weeks off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's such a huge thing as well to have the connection to specific sports. How have you found it? Because I think you spend time with powerlifters and powerlifting coaches, you start to think like a powerlifter and a powerlifting coach. How has that been for you in the evolution of your practice and working with your athlete clients in specific sports that you're focusing on?
Yeah, I mean, as far as on my end of it, the only way you get good at something is practicing.
Yeah.
So you're coming out of school, adjusting 120 or 150 kg guy is a bit daunting. It's a guy, there's a lot to do, but the best way to get good at that is do it a whole bunch.
Mm,
So
mm.
working these events, then I'll treat 10 of those guys in a row. And then over a week, that's 100 of those guys. And then you're like, actually, this is a mentality and a way that I can work with these athletes. And then as far as how it shapes your practice, yeah, like I was very fortunate to get in with the WPC and things like that. And then that's also where some of the sorry, my dog is
Oh, cool. Tell us what you
go
also got
ahead.
to tell us about the dog now. Yeah.
So, but yeah, working with the different coaches, and then it's all about trust.
Yeah.
And when I started, obviously I was the odd man out. I speak funny. I'm not from here, and I don't know anyone. But I'm just working with the coaches, working at the events, working with athletes. Then it just builds that trust, and my skills get better at it as well.
Right. Listen, it's very, very physically daunting as well. Maybe they should make chiropractic one of the strongman uh, uh, competitions where you've got to adjust one another for a 45-minute session and see how and get your points. That could be a great event. Uh,
It would be great. I always tell people I train to be a chiropractor. So what
yeah.
I do in the gym, I
Yeah.
view adjusting and chiropractic as my sport.
Right.
And how do I get at it and how do I take care of my body? And that's how I, So it's a little different from when I played rugby and I would train to be a
Mm.
rugby player. Now I'm training to do my job,
Yeah.
but it makes it fun as well, and it makes it easier in the long run.
Oh, they're phenomenal. I absolutely love that. What I wanted to ask you as well, with that, what got you into chiropractics? What made you choose that, perhaps rather than physio or one of the other sciences?
So that's a great question. In college I played rugby. When I
Mm,
finished my undergraduate, it was time for me to decide on what graduate school I
mm,
wanted to
mm,
go to. And kind of in my mind, my options were MD, medical doctor, physical therapist, strength and conditioning coach, or
mm,
chiropractor.
mm,
And I made a list of what do I love the most. And I love training and I love working in the gym, but I also love helping people.
mm,
And then from there, I just expanded it. What job out of those four options could I do what I love the most? And chiropractic was the way that I get to do everything that I love. And like I tell people, I don't have a real job. I don't view my job as a job. It's actually like a great career and it suits me perfectly and I love it. So I was glad I went in that route
mm.
versus some of the other ones.
Oh, phenomenal. It's really cool. I mean, just I could see how you're interacting with the athletes. You also helped Spoo out with his shoulder, and that also being a rugby injury. And I'm sure you guys had the opportunity to chat a little bit about rugby there as well and to connect for athletes that may. So there's a couple of levels to this question. I think we can break it down, but athletes and having a chiropractor. I went for physio and I've had some phenomenal physios in my life, but the problems only really started to be addressed in my own personal experience long term when I started to see a chiropractor. I've been working with Dr. Simon Lawson, and sort of when there's a niggle, I'll go and see him. He pulls out the steel rod of love and says, touch your toes. I said, you touch your toes. And, and just, you know that. They're just, yeah. But, and I've been able to move and I've had better mobility now in the last 10 years working with a chiropractor than I've had previously in my sporting career. What is it that chiropractics does for the body and does for the athlete? And then I want to break down sort of when should athletes be going to see chiropractors, with injury, without injury, for maintenance, and so on. So, what does chiropractics do in a nutshell if someone's listening and doesn't really understand it?
Yeah. So I just want to say, first of all, we've seen one of the OG sports chiropractors in South
Yeah.
Africa. So
The boss. Yeah,
good on
100%.
you.
He's good. He's
He's an
great.
absolute legend
But
and
but
he's
but
here to
also an
stay.
athlete, right? And he understands that don't
Yeah.
don't take off 6 weeks because he knows it's not going to happen.
No, absolutely. And
Mm,
then as far as what chiropractic does for athletes, I mean, we do a lot of stuff. I know the
mm,
big thing is what people think chiropractic, clicking your back, clicking your neck. So it's called a high velocity, low amplitude adjustment. What it does is it helps segments of the spine that aren't moving as well
mm.
move better. And
Okay.
what I like to describe chiropractic as to like somebody who's never heard of it before. And this encompasses the adjusting, the exercise rehab, cupping, scraping, needles, and all of that. If you view us kind of like a plumber
Hmm.
and your body's plumbing system, some places are moving too much and we need to tighten those. And that's where exercise, rehabilitation, and things like that work. And some places maybe not moving enough. And that's where the adjusting, dry needling does. And we look at the body as a whole and we try to assess
Hmm.
what movement patterns or what's causing the pain and dysfunction in the patient. And then work on a system of where can we strengthen, where can we release to just move, let the body move more optimally.
Right. And that optimal movement really, for an older athlete like me, can make me feel like I'm 21 again. Which
Yeah.
is the most amazing thing. That I always have memories as a kid running and scrambling on rocks on Clifton Beach or on Camps Bay Beach, jumping from one rock to another without any worry or feeling any load. And then as we get older, you feel a little bit heavier, not as springy. You can't jump as far, and you land heavier. But after everything gets adjusted, it's sort of like I get 2 or 3 decades back, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And that's really what's wonderful about it. And I think it also makes you feel safe because it make you know that you can move in a way, maybe a little bit more with a little bit more load as a powerlifter without worrying about, is the left side supporting the right too much or front to back along those lines. I like so your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, part of it is like the psychological issue
Mm.
of pain,
Yes.
especially a power lift. As soon as something goes wrong in your low back, we are conditioned to think it's sciatica. I've done something to the nerve. So, like at comps, that's what I do a lot is just assess, make sure that it isn't that, and then
Mm.
reassure the patient,
Okay.
hey, this is a muscular pain. I know it's painful. Nothing's damaged. You haven't broken your back. It will get better. And then as we age and as we play sports, the two things that happen is our body doesn't heal as fast.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, as a kid running up and down rocks, you fall, you bounce. We don't bounce as much as we get older. And especially power lifters, not the most mobile of patient populations, don't bounce very well.
It's like, yeah, it's like
So,
powerlifters and yoga, masters. We're in the same.
yeah.
Right.
And just on that, I mean, one of the things I like to say I
Mm.
do at events is any sport, if you're proficient at, you're going
Mm.
to have beneficial movement attributes.
Yes.
Powerlifting is they're
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no two ways about it. But at every attribute that's good, you're going to pick up some movement dysfunctions.
Mm. Mm.
And one of the side effects of strength is going to be lack of mobility. So it's our job to try to help improve where it's weak without detrimenting what the required attributes are.
Right. I love that. I mean, that analogy is spot on. So thank you. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. When should athletes start working with a power lifter? I'm sorry, excuse me, with a chiropractor. Sort of, should parents be bringing their kids in at high school level? Do we come when there's something sore? When is the best time to start? I know the answer, but this is for the public.
So, I mean, the quick answer is it depends.
Mm.
Chiropractic is safe for children, especially with how much sport kids are playing now. I think it's always good to preemptively hitting
Hmm.
a problem is always more effective than trying to solve it when it's there. So coming in early, seeing how we're moving, and then tailoring
Mm.
your workouts towards, like I see a lot of kids, they don't have great proprioception or they don't have great ankle mobility. And rather treating them when they're 11 and getting that fixed versus when they're 18 and now they've thrown out their back.
Yeah.
And then as far as like powerlifting specific, it really depends. And our treatment changes depending on where you are to the comp. The week before a comp, I
Hmm.
do almost no exercise rehabilitation. It's 100% passive care.
Mm.
It's let's just get you calm, let's get you moving, let's get you ready for the comp. The week after a comp, you're hitting the gym with me.
Yeah.
We're gonna do all those horrible exercises to work on stuff that you don't want to do. But it just depends where you are in the
Yeah.
season. It's typically good to come in early, like at the start of your block, so we can
Mm.
make a game plan. Because there's nothing worse when somebody comes like 2 weeks before the world championship and it's
Sure.
like, this is the list of things that have been going on for 6 months.
Yeah.
What can we do to fix these in
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Fix me now.
You
Yeah.
know, and that's what I love about chiropractic. It does give you immediate relief,
Yeah.
but to fix some of the problems, it does take some time and some effort
Mm.
of you in the gym.
I think so many great points that you've made, and sort of going back to the beginning of the block. That's great, but sort of just that passive care at the end of the cycle, just before the competition, working with the patient in terms of, I'm sure, just helping them develop their mind-body connection, so they can trust their body around what the pain might be telling them something. But as you said, it's not sciatic. Your back's fine. It's just something that's a bit. You haven't broken it, and you can trust your body so that you can then go after those numbers and just be more confident on the platform.
No, absolutely. And it's the same as what I do at the competitions. I like to
Mm.
say that's a band-aid.
Yeah.
Looking first and foremost, make sure it's safe. That's the first thing
Yeah.
that I do, or any chiropractor, any medical professional. And then stemming from that, like, what can we do to get you to compete at your best level safely? But we're not going to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's like just that mental, like, hey, your back is okay. It's a
Mm.
little bit
Mm.
stiff and sore. I'll scrape a little bit, I'll adjust, we'll put some tape on it. That'll get you through the comp. Just that mental relief
Yes.
of I can still do. I'm hearing from somebody who knows what's going on that
And who
everything's
knows me
okay.
as well, right? Which is great. Yeah.
with that, that's why
Mm,
I've been very lucky with the WPC.
mm.
I think this was my second nationals I've done with them. I've done plenty of regionals. I'll be helping them at the world competition coming up. So I've worked with these
Sweet. Had to
athletes.
do that. Sorry. Yeah.
No, 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 absolutely. So, I've worked with these athletes.
Mm,
they are starting to trust me. I'm starting to learn what they need. And then when we get to that competition, when, you're in between your second and third lift, you know, it's getting intense. Just having that friendly face that they can trust, be like, all
yeah.
right, we'll get you sorted. We'll get you back out there, and there's nothing to worry about.
100%. And then, Matt, I'd also like to get your thoughts. We were talking about school kids. One of the things that we do in the gym, and that's really worked well for me, very basic warm up, push up, squat, hip extension, leg extension. It just really helps me assess in my very basic way, where they tight, what's not moving the way that it should, comparing it to last week. So a very basic functional movement screen, if I could be that proud to call it that, but just some basic movements
Yeah.
to make sure that they're safe. But with school sports, and I mean, I know for myself, like there were some physical challenges with my back. But do you think that a physical assessment of a student before they start sport by a chiropractor, just going through having a basic assessment, watching them move and work in the gym, is this something that more schools should be looking at? And long term, do you think it'll put the students into a far better position and a better career?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big proponent of pre-screening,
Mm.
watching how people move. Whether any medical professional that's trained in functional movement screens, I think would be excellent. Obviously, I'll plug Kairos because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
one,
for sure.
but I think it's a great idea, seeing how the kids are moving and noticing problems before they arise.
Yes.
With that, I wish more schools. So I love how much sport these kids play, but I would love to see some more strength and conditioning with the athletes too, because not only, I mean,
Mm.
for recovery, for injury prevention, as well as increased performance, I think that is a key area, and especially one that South Africa is. But I like to say I would rather have a trained professional when I have kids watch my
Mm,
son, see
mm.
how they teach them how to lift. So that's where the strength and
Yeah.
conditioning coaches come in. Rather than just go to the commercial gym and, Jim Bro teaches him how to squat with terrible
From
form.
or
So I think,
following stuff on social media as well without a coach. Even
no,
worse. Yeah.
100%. With that, I think like coaches are so
Mm.
critically important in all of this, where that's where the functional movement screening comes in. Find the assessment, find what's wrong, and then working with the coach on how you can get that kid to improve those, I think would be the ultimate way of training
But yeah,
kids.
and I think just keeping that physical connection, keeping that passion for the sport, keeping the kids safe, because the longer that we can lift, the longer that we can play our sport. I mean, effectively, right? If you're playing the sport you love, it's play, it's mental health, it's physical health, it's all of these really wonderful things. I wanted to chat also a little bit about WPC Worlds now. In November, we were just down in Durban looking at the hotel. We did a tour. I've got a lot of editing to do this weekend. It's going to be absolutely epic. We had Coach Lil on earlier this week chatting about, coffee and food and where to go. I found a great bunny chow place in Umhlanga, a bean bunny, because absolutely off the hook. Dubs, one of our streamers who you met, the tall guy, he had a mutton bunny, absolutely loved it, couldn't finish the thing. So there's so much fun stuff to do in Durban. But for you, what are your expectations for Worlds? What are you looking forward to?
I first of all, I think it's going to be a phenomenal event. Just looking at all the planning, how everything's taking shape, it's going to
Mm,
be a really fun one. The hotel's beautiful. It's in a beautiful area.
yeah,
There's so much to do around there. I'm really excited with some of the local talent competing. From Joburg, Durban, Cape Town, we have some great guys and girls that I think are going to showcase very well.
yes,
And I'm excited to see lifters from other countries. I had the privilege last year of helping out at the Commonwealth Games for powerlifting, and it's so cool to see the different countries and everybody competing. And especially in a sport like powerlifting, where there's so much going on, it's so action packed.
Yes.
It's a really good event.
Absolutely. And sort of the numbers and how it's moving are incredible. I want to chat to you about that. But we got a great message from Carlos Lewis saying, as a Master 3 lifter, I've been seeing my chiropractor and physical therapist for over 6 years. It's helped me in my living and daily living. So he then says lifting. So it's helped me in my daily lifting. I mean, that's a Master 3. And, Carlos is absolutely rocking it. We're looking forward to having him on the podcast as well soon. We're just setting a time because he's in Texas, and I am
Okay.
terrible at converting time zones. I'm sure it is Texas, Carlos. If I got that right, so we're looking forward to chatting. But that's the great thing about the sport. You get to meet amazing people from all over the world. Do you have any sort of stories that you could share that might inspire perhaps some of our older listeners, perhaps in terms of how long you can lift? I mean, the value of a chiropractor, a physical therapist in longevity, lifting as a Master 3, Master 4, Master 5. And watch my predictions here, Matt. Okay, we will very soon, within the next 15 years, I say, have a Master 6 category.
Oh, I'm sure with, all the knowledge on training and better coaching and
Yeah,
better techniques, I think people are going to be lifting much longer.
yep.
Just on the longevity of it, I believe you've spoken to him or you know of him. Dan, he competes in the IPF.
Okay, yeah,
I think he's almost 86 now.
sure.
He's up there, still lifting, still moving. It's
Yeah.
absolutely phenomenal to watch those guys lifting. And I mean, if you look at some of the master athletes from South Africa and from the
Mm.
rest of the world, it's so inspiring, especially some of them only got into lifting a few years ago.
Yes.
A lot
Yeah.
haven't been lifting from 18. They started in their 60s or
Yeah.
50s. I've heard of people starting in their 70s.
Wow.
So on that aspect, age is just a number. I
Mm.
mean, if you take any of the master athletes, they are probably in better shape and more fit than most 20, 30-year-olds in the general
Yeah.
population.
That
So I mean, movement is medicine, and they're moving and grooving. It's absolutely astonishing to watch.
absolutely. There's an Australian lifter, Peter Day, and she is um, I mean, I think she started lifting in her 50s, and she's breaking squat world records. You know, she's she's absolutely phenomenal, and it is you can really start at any time and definitely keep it going. How often should we be seeing our chiropractor? If we're fine, if everything's okay, and the reason I ask this is, athletes, right? And maybe particularly guys, because we say men don't live as long as women because we don't take as good a care of ourselves physically as women do. We don't go to we ignore the niggle, we ignore the tooth infection, and all of these things that build up over time and put stress on our system. So, I think if you left it up for guys, it would be like, okay, I can't walk, I have to go to the chiropractor. But how often should a competitive level athlete be going to a chiropractor if everything is okay?
And if everything's okay, and again, it's a hard question to ask because
Yeah.
everybody responds differently. I do love what you said about guys because yeah,
Mm.
they usually come in like before, like, hey, I can't move my shoulder, I can't move my
Yeah.
hip.
And I'm
You got
lifting
like
in
2 days
15
to fix
minutes.
this. Yeah. So I like to say for men, everybody knows their own body.
Yeah.
And but I would say between everything's healthy in the off season between 1 and 6 months. You just know
Mhm.
your body. Sometimes I see people every 2 months or every month. As you start ramping up to the competition and as you start adding more weight,
Mm.
especially starting to feel that you're plateauing or if something's not right, increasing it more to maybe monthly up until the competition. And then if you do have an injury, obviously we want to cut back on the amount of time it takes to get back. So coming in slightly more frequent than
Mhm.
that is probably good.
A better idea, 100%. Completely off the sport, paddle. And because I know initially CrossFit was great for chiropractors and physiotherapists. I had the sense that paddle would be because you sort of have guys who've been on the couch for a substantial amount of time get invited out for paddle and are hurting themselves and tweaking themselves. If they are enjoying the sport, they should also maybe be, if you haven't done exercise for a while, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, should you be going to a chiropractor before taking on a sport like paddle or any other sport, really? But let's focus on paddle because I saw a
Okay,
smile.
so yeah, so paddle, before I moved to South Africa and I was working in the States, paddle isn't as big. So I
Yeah,
was like, okay, in my mind, I'm going to come to South Africa. I'm going to be treating rugby players. I'm going to be treating power lifters. And then I got here and that's true, but paddle is definitely the number one.
yeah,
Um, so first, I call it, I don't call it, but it's called the rule of 10%. You want to
hmm,
increase the intent duration of your exercise by about 10%. So if you haven't done any exercise in 10 years, going
sure,
straight into playing 20 paddle matches a week is probably a little bit too much.
mm,
With paddle specifically, yeah, it's probably good to see a chiro early on. Just see how you're moving and then working on ways that we can avoid the typical problems with paddle, which is going to be like tennis elbow, lateral
mm.
epicolitis, knee issues, hip issues, ankle issues. I mean, basically anything can go wrong in paddle.
Yeah.
But
Glass
so
issues.
going, yeah, yeah, everything.
Yeah,
So going early before these, because
mm,
again, it's like any way you want to look at it, you're more successful fixing the problem before it starts.
yeah,
It's
sure,
also
love
much
that.
more
Mm,
portable. You know, you can go see somebody one time and they'll be like, this is what I want you to move on, versus like now you have lateral epicolitis or
mm.
you've sprained your ACL or you've done something a little bit more serious. It's going to take a lot more time to rehab you, but it's going to cost a lot more in the long run as well.
Yeah. You don't want to be dealing with torn meniscus with if you should have just gone and said, hey, okay, you don't really have the strength and the support in your knees for those lateral stopping things. So just go to the gym for a month, come back and see me, and then look at going onto the court.
No, 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 absolutely. Or, I see a ton of it. I'll say like, have you been
Mm,
coached?
mm,
You do a couple lessons, for any sport, do a couple lessons and learn
yeah.
how to do it right. Before you start getting all of the chronic overuse injuries.
Okay.
Which again, that's coming. Guys won't do it, but
Exactly, 100%. Exactly. I think, like, that's also sort of where where there's a bunch of friends around. That could also be a bit of a challenge. Where you want to show off a bit. I think within the powerlifting community, we understand the weight, and if there are new people coming into the gym, you can give them encouragement and support, but you also want to be reining them in terms of the numbers that they're trying to move, because lifters understand you need to be a little bit careful up front. All right, you okay there on audio? Have you got me?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, good. Sorry, I just was a little bit of a crackling on my side.
No, no.
Okay, from your side. So, how do people find you? How do they get in touch with you with regards to the practice?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, cards. I have a little sign on my door. Most of it's word
Mm,
of mouth.
yeah.
So greet somebody, they tell them. Obviously, I was new. I've been in practice in South Africa since last
Mm,
April. Just moved into my vacation this April. But yeah, WhatsApp, phoning, and then online, Facebook and Instagram is kind of how we get in touch with patients.
okay, perfect. I mean, it was amazing. We phoned coming up the pass, Van Rienen's pass, phoning on Instagram, trying to get through. So that did kind of work, which was great. It was a very quick answer, so I was very very impressed with
Yes.
that. For the athletes that are looking to compete in worlds that are maybe coming from overseas, can they reach out to you if they're dealing with a challenge and sort of consult on online or over the phone, and then maybe see you before they come down to the session before they compete?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always put a big asterisk on
Mm,
tele sessions
yeah.
because obviously I'm not there to do the tests to see how the tissue is moving and everything. But in a general sense, yeah, absolutely. They can reach out to me. I can give some general advice and
Okay.
opinions on it. And then if they come before Worlds, yeah, obviously I'll be around taking patients and visits. And then actually during the World Championship, I'll be on site every day.
Awesome.
So those sessions are a little bit different. It's not the full
Mm,
length. It's
mm,
more of putting a band.
yeah.
But I'll be there for athletes. It's complimentary to all athletes competing
Awesome. That's very
in
cool.
WPT
Sure.
worlds.
I mean,
So I'll be there
that's
helping.
amazing. That's really amazing. So ideally, what you would like to see is if they have their own chiropractors that they're working with, maybe that you do a consult with the chiro. You guys can chat chiro to chiro, and then you sort of know what to do to help out. I'm not sure if you guys do that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And I mean, one thing that came to mind too is
mm,
at the Commonwealth Games, some of the guys from other countries, their chiros put a message.
yeah.
And
Okay.
then, the patient came and showed me the phone with a message from their chiro, like, this is what I want you to do. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, if they have their own chiro, if their own physio, their own medical team, that want specific things done, yeah, have them just bring that, and then I can read off of that. That's obviously their care team. I'm happy to help out. And if they don't have one, then, we can get my opinions and working on the issues
And get
from
working.
there.
Okay, absolutely awesome. We've got another question just from Carlos here, just to put up. What's your thoughts on foam rolling in the off season instead of seeing your chiropractor?
So with foam rolling, it's a passive modality. It
Mm.
definitely has its place. I like to say if it's legal and it feels good, go for it.
I love that.
Um,
Yeah.
with passive modalities, so foam rolling, things like that, aren't going to be as effective in the long run for long sustaining changes as say like an exercise rehabilitation plan and things like that. So if you find like, hey, foam rolling after my sessions in the off season feels great, it gives me more mobility, I'm happy with that. Absolutely use that interchange. I would still recommend seeing a professional just
Hmm.
so we can work on why are you foam rolling this area after every session.
Right. Okay.
What's causing you there? But as far as foam rolling as a modality, yeah, it's great. Just don't do it too much. You shouldn't
Mm.
be bruising.
Okay.
But other than that, it's a modality.
So thank you. So I suppose it comes down to the same reason why you would have a coach. The number one job of a coach is observation. You need the chiropractor there to be able to observe and see what's happening, and then give feedback. As otherwise, we'd just be rolling it all the time, or the old martial artists in South Africa with the anti-inflammatory. I think it's called cataflam. They call it
Yeah.
karate discipline because the guy, you're popping it every day, but you shouldn't be popping it every day. So it's something that really that you need to be a little bit cautious and aware of. We got an
No,
yeah,
absolutely.
we got another comment here from Telly the Builder, and it says, "Nice watching. Thank you, Telly. We appreciate that, dude." And just from your side, just as we start to wrap up, Matt, anything sort of that you want to share that you'd like to mention or talk about?
Um, yeah, I mean, if you're again, I'm so excited to be a part of the World Championship coming up. If you're in the area, I really recommend coming and checking it out. I don't want to list because I'm not supposed to say, but we've got some huge name
You can go on, go
huge
for it,
name
go for it.
listers.
It's fine. It's my podcast. You do what you want.
So we got some really good guys and girls coming from around the world.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an excellent competition. It's a beautiful area. There'll be some cool
Mm,
vendors,
mm.
and it's free to watch. If you're
Yeah.
into powerlifting, if you're new to powerlifting, it's a kid-friendly event. It's just going to be a really absolutely blast. Seeing all those guys and girls competing over each of the days.
So, it's going to be epic. I have to tell you, we went to film content at the hotel this past week, and the service we got, it was just unbelievable to see. There were welcome drinks and hot towels laid out, and we're coming to film. So, and the outfits the staff were wearing, it's such an amazing African vibe as well, with a definite Durban twist, which is really cool. It's the Zulu Kingdom, and it's that Durban unique vibe. And you're across the road from the beach, so like you can take a walk down to the beach, jump in, have a swim, come back, do your way in, and
Yeah.
start your session. It's absolutely it's gonna be epic. Oh, we have another comment here. You might know this person. Hey, that's my
Yeah.
chiropractor. Got to give you another one. There we go.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think you might be a little bit biased, but thank you.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being biased. That's biased is a good thing. There are also Matt. I know that it's going to be off the hook. Can't wait to hang out and work. We'll be doing the live streaming. We'll be doing the photos. We're doing photo packages for the athletes, and it's going to be really really cool. So, and just sure, it's going to be an epic 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 off the hook event. Very grateful to have you there, because I just hopefully not embarrassing you in any way, but I just saw the connection and the relationship that you had with the athletes, and how special it was, and it meant a lot to the guys for to have you there because you're like you're the parachute, you're the safety net, and I think you're also sort of like the mental and emotional hug. You know, it's going to be okay. You can go out and do this. That just that you're covered.
No, thank you. I think that's absolutely correct. And it's been such a special part to be a part of it and watching them grow and lift and hit some of their big lifts. I don't know if I have to kind of
Yeah,
uh, keep it mellow. I have to monitor my emotions because I can't be biased. But man, I'm screaming on the inside when they're hitting their lifts, and I know what they did before and how hard they've
yeah,
worked.
yeah.
So that's part of my job at the events is to just try to not get too hyped up. So
Yeah, 100%. I just thought that we got another comment from Carlos as well. Gee, the comments are coming in nicely. It's awesome. So Carlos just thrown up a couple of suns there, and there we go. Oh, hold on. We got a question here, Matt. I'm going to get this answered, and also because you spent time in the US, we can get your opinion, gentlemen. What's the best coffee? The best SA coffee I can purchase on Amazon. So that I actually have no idea about, but I am going to find out now. I'll let you know, Carlos. I'll drop you a message. Any thoughts? I mean, any South African coffee that you found while you were over there?
so I'm the worst person to ask this because
Okay.
I don't actually drink coffee. So but I'll ask around and I
Cool.
can get back to you on
Yeah,
that. So.
I'm sure there's one called Theodore or Thedor. It's made in Franschhoek, and I'm sure they're on Amazon. We'll find out. Otherwise, Carlos, we're going to ship you some coffee as long as we don't get into trouble with anyone. You're most welcome. Just by the way, I have a idea. What do you think of this? For the athletes that are coming from overseas, even around South Africa, if they have existing injuries, should the chiropractor tape them and then write on the tape with the Sharpie what the issues are?
But might be a good idea. Just come with your a list of issues where it is on the body. It'll make my job a lot easier.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
keeping the on may be an issue.
Okay, yeah, 100%. You know what? The guy's not showering for a week.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Just one quick one as well. We got one from here, two lads and toucan coffee. Okay, cool, awesome. There we go, Carlos. We hope that helps. Thank you, Fallon. That's awesome. Oh, Matt, dude, it's been absolutely epic chatting to you. Very grateful for you making the time. Sorry that we had to reschedule sort of twice, move the week, and then move a few hours today. We really appreciate you accommodating us.
No, thank you so much for having me on. This was an absolute blast. I really appreciate it.
Also, likewise, had an absolute blast. Thank you also for the information that you've shared. And we've got some homework to do. There's some notes need to be written on tapes, and I've got to find out what coffee is on Amazon. So we're going
Yeah.
to work that out as well. I'm going to end the live stream, and then I'll chat to you quickly off air. So we'll end the stream. It'll go black, and then I'll be back with you in a few minutes. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And sure, you had a great time listening to Matt. Please do give him a follow on Instagram. Message him if you're in the area. Great chiropractor. I saw that firsthand. Where you got athletes that are going for nationals, and it takes a great deal of trust to go and see to have a potential adjustment and so on before your competition. So that was really great. So yeah, there you go. Matt, I don't think any higher praise is needed when you've got athletes competing for a spot on their national team and they're coming to see you right before they compete. So awesome, dude. And the last one from Carlos: enjoy life. Absolutely, 100%. When a master
Thank you
three,
so much.
yeah, that's it. When a master 3 power lifter tells you enjoy life, you listen. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us, Matt. I'll chat to you in one sec. Thank you, everyone.